Hello, hello. Okay, we are going to be now discussing, of course, Typhoon Fung-wong, or Uwan, and its impacts in the Philippines as it slams in the country. I'm going to share the stream, and then we'll get started more in the discussion on it. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. We are nearing 5.2 thousand subscribers, and we are now an hour and 38 minutes away from a landfall somewhere in Isabel, or somewhere in Aurora, excuse me. All right. See, is anybody in the chat? Typhoon Lover? Okay, already people joining in the chat. Hello, Mammerge is there. All right, Aiden, South Korea, Manhu. And yes, hello everyone. How are you all doing? I was not expecting you all to join in this quick. Okay. Just going to share the stream and then we'll get more into the discussion of warnings and things like that. So where the system's located at, more high resolution satellite imagery, all of that stuff. Time to just share it on my Discord and then we will get started. Okay, come on. There we go. Okay, and in theory, this should all be working just fine. Okay, yes, we got a lot of people in the chat. Hello, Andrew. Hello, Elmo, Droog, and let's see, Gaming with Trip and H is in the chats. Hello. Okay, yes, of course, we're going to be discussing Typhoon Uwan now as it slams into Aurora. It's nearing and getting closer and closer to making landfall there. Did want to discuss the last forecast I've issued on it, where it is right now. It is likely a low-end Category 4 major typhoon, but it is going to be delivering catastrophic impacts in Aurora. We're already seeing some of that surge in some footage on social media a couple of hours ago, and it's only going to get worse. Surge of up to 5 meters as possible. Did want to discuss its impacts, where it's expected to go. Again, it is expected to plow across Luzon, slamming into places like Nueva Vizcaya, as well as Benguets, Pangasinan, La Union, those areas as a potential major typhoon. It will exit there into the South China Sea as a typhoon before curving off and hooking towards the northeast and slamming into Taiwan there. The flooding will be the major concern for eastern Taiwan. In terms of impacts for the Philippines, areas like the Catanawanas are no longer going to be in that major impact category. Really, anywhere that's kind of in this section is still hasn't yet to see the worst of it. Anywhere in here has yet to see the worst of impacts. Anywhere to the east, though, has already likely seen the worst of impacts, and conditions will be calming gradually. All right. Of course, the catastrophic impacts, the flooding may be unsurvivable along the Auroran coastline, mainly where the system makes landfall into the north, across portions of Aurora. And then looking at the latest satellite imagery, you can see the eye is still massive. It hasn't consolidated a whole lot since the last time we've checked. Outflow is huge, though. Of course, it's covering pretty much the entire Philippines, and that's outflow. Those little wispy clouds are impacting pretty much even Taiwan's getting some of those wispy clouds. The outflow is insane with the system. It's too large for its own good right now. That's why it's not becoming really a Category 5. I believe PAGASA still has it as a super typhoon. Alright. And looking at infrared imagery, it doesn't look as good as it did a little bit earlier. Again, its eye is really not that solid, which is always good news, though, as in the system isn't doing as good as it could. But unfortunately, it's such a large system, it doesn't really matter. The rainfall is going to be major from the system. You can see the topographic lift impacting some of these areas in the Philippines. Lots of heavy rainfall falling there. And yeah, then if we look at the higher resolution imagery, of course that's not going to show, but we can look at the, here we go, the infrared imagery on it. Whoops. No, please. Okay, I'll refresh it. There we go. There's a look at where the system's located at right now, and it's nearing land right now. Likely portions of the eye are already on shore and portions of Aurora. The center of it has not made landfall just yet. The eastern side and northern side is likely the strongest, so it's pummeling portions of northern Aurora and southern Isabela. Really, the entire coast of Isabela and portions of southern Cagayan are expected to see over 3 meters of storm surge. No joke for there. Of course, sea surface temperatures are fine for the system, not a problem if I refresh it. Again, they're still around at 29 degrees Celsius, not a problem for it to continue to try to intensify up until landfall. Looking at its location from certain areas, how far away is it? It's moving more on the northern end of the forecast. I did want to mention that. It has wobbled more to the north. So looking at distances, it is currently, or as around, this was around 7:40. It was around 35 kilometers away from making landfall in Aurora, and it's moving at around 35 kilometers an hour or so, I believe. If I take a look at the last forecast here, how fast was it moving? It was moving at around 44 kilometers an hour. So really, this could already be making landfall within an hour. Actually, looks like. Of course, if we take a look at the latest HAFS A model run and what it's showing, let's start off with the HWRF model run first, just to get an idea of what they're wanting the system to do. Okay, here's a look at the latest run. Does have it as a pretty strong Typhoon, a 937 millibars, slamming into the Philippines there. This has it making landfall around southern Aurora or even northern Quezon. This is a little bit inaccurate compared to where it's located right now. Does have it dumping heavy rainfall across portions of Fung-wong, Guangdong province of China and Fujian provinces of China and Taiwan. Now, I'm curious what the HAFS A model run has been showing. It's been going on the more northern end, and it looks like this model run will verify where it slams into. Alright, so anywhere in this purple coloring right here is seeing Typhoon force wind sustained. This is how large the system is. It really extends all the way as far north as portions of Isabela and as far south as the Bicol region and Quezon. In terms of gust, what areas could see Typhoon force gust? Anywhere in purple here could see Typhoon force gust from the system, and that does include Metro Manila now as it's shifted more to the south. And we will go over signal warnings in a little bit. Okay, after it slams in the Philippines, what does it look like afterwards? It still maintains its structure somewhat. It's more lopsided, though, on the western side. And we can take a look at the shear. How much shear is it experiencing? Decent to high, moderate to high amounts of shear. That's why it's not going to really be able to recover. Sea surface temperatures are also decreasing, so it just really gets smaller and smaller as it gets closer to Taiwan. Interestingly enough, it has it moving towards the west of Taiwan, whereas the Joint Typhoon Warning Center in my forecast does have it making landfall in Taiwan. Let's see, what else can we discuss? Let's discuss the rainfall totals on the various model runs. What are they showing? Okay, there we go. So let's go for the next 7 days in terms of rainfall totals. Again, not as much is being forecasted anymore because a lot of it has already fallen. But areas in portions of Kalinga, for example, or even Kalinga Mountain Province in Ifugao, all seeing up to 200 millimeters rain on the German run. Areas offshore in the South China Sea could see rainfall as much as 1,000 millimeters. Along the east coast of Taiwan, up to 200 to 300 millimeters are possible. Looking at the American run, portions of Baguio could see up to 300 millimeters of rain, additional rainfall totals, on top of what's already fallen. A lot of these areas could see 150 to 250 millimeters of rain in that red coloring. And then portions of eastern Taiwan could see as much as 300 to 400 millimeters of rain. And then looking at the European run, similar totals there, where it makes landfall, an additional 300 millimeters rain will be possible. And Baguio and Benguet up to 300 millimeters as well. And portions of eastern Taiwan could see as much as 400 to 500 millimeters of rain falling there. I'm curious what the Google AI Ensemble members are now showing the most recent run. Any changes there? See, peak intensity looks like it's going to be a consensus as a Category 4. Making landfall, it seems like it's doing a decent job of forecasting its landfall. Now, 100% chance it makes landfall in Aurora. That makes sense, of course, as it's getting closer and closer. It's now looking like it will be making a landfall in Aurora within an hour or so, within 90 minutes. That may be generous, or that may be a lot of time there for it. Again, it looked a lot better earlier, a lot more convective burst. Now it's a little bit waning on the waning side, not as much. Which is good news for the Philippines. It's not a Category 5, but it's still likely a Category 3 or 4 at this time. Did want to discuss the other distances from other provinces in the Philippines. So Aurora, I said, is around 30 kilometers away. Portion of Isabela is down to around 90 kilometers away. Cagayan is down to around 170 kilometers. Apayao is around 210. Ilocos Norte around 250. Ilocos Sur around 180. Kalinga down to around 190. Mountain Province down to 150. and Ifugao is down to probably around 110 kilometers away. La Union, where it could be exiting the Philippines, is going to be around 160 kilometers away. Benguet's down to around 130 kilometers away. And this would be Nueva Vizcaya's down to around, I'd say, 70 to 80 kilometers away. And let's see, that would be Carino is going to be down to 45 kilometers away. So that's going to be the next province it slams into after it slams into Aurora. Right, then looking at Nueva Ecija, down to around 80 kilometers away. Pangasinan's down to 140 kilometers. Tarlac is down to 130 to 140 kilometers away. Zambales is 190 kilometers away. Metro Manila is down to 175 kilometers away. Palilo Island's 90 kilometers away. That's the closest approach it's going to be making there. See, discussing additional wind accumulations. Let's see what models are doing a good job on that. European run, not really that great. American run, probably not going to be that great. German run may be the best bet. Let's see if it's what it's showing. If we go back a little bit earlier, maybe this will work. Okay, yeah, there we go. Yeah, so the heaviest winds are likely happening right now in portions of just offshore of Aurora, 260 kilometer an hour or more of wind gust. Areas along the coast could be seeing up to 230 kilometer an hour wind gusts are being shown on here. Now, let's go over the latest forecast. I'll update it on the Joint Typhoon Warning Center. What are they showing now? Again, a Category 4 right now, going to be slamming in the Philippines, weakening down to a Category 2, potentially exiting the Philippines as a Category 1 or 2. It will be struggling, and it will be gradually weakening as it makes a northwards curve. And then it hooks off towards Taiwan as a severe moderate tropical storm for exiting the Philippines, or exiting Taiwan, still as a tropical storm. And then will be likely dissipating near the Ryukyu Islands of Japan, Sakishima Islands as well. Cone is in Hong Kong. This is because Hong Kong could be seeing marginal impacts from the system, okay? Like, it's such a large system that if we look at a zoomed out view of this here, you can see Hong Kong potentially nearly getting gale force wind sustained. That's that green coloring. And if we look at the gust up here, this is a good depiction of kind of what gust could be looking like. Yeah, gale force gust happening in portions of Hong Kong. The system's so large that, yeah, you will be seeing impacts in Hong Kong from this. May not be the rain, it may be just gusty. Again, only marginal impacts are being expected for Hong Kong. So really, what does that mean? Expect minor tropical impacts with brief periods of gusty winds and some rain. A few branches may come down and minor street flooding is possible. Now, let's open up, let's see, what was I going to show? Yes, let's show the PAGASA forecast. What are they showing? In terms of rainfall, storm surge, let's go all through that. I'm going to open up their page and then we'll go through it. Okay, let's start off with the rainfall forecast. This is going to be the rest of today's rainfall. Let me just open this up on, this is going to be an updated look at today's rainfall totals. Are they going to be the exact same? Okay. Yeah, it looks like it's pretty much the exact... Okay, hold on. I don't know. Is this updated or not? I'll refresh it, maybe seeing if there's a... Should be the... Okay, no, it's not the latest. My bad. Okay. The newest forecast from PAGASA has just come out. I will be discussing that. So the new Signal 5 warnings likely have been issued. Just do this. Alright, so their latest forecast now, if I, okay, I'll pull it up in a moment. There we go. So again, if you're in the Philippines right now, stay sheltered. Again, the system is approaching, getting closer and closer. Here's a look at their latest forecast cone on the system. So what do they say? Let me open this up again. Super Typhoon Uwan is about to make landfall over the central or northern portion of Aurora. As of 7 p.m., the center of the eye of Super Typhoon Uwan was estimated based on all available data, including those from Belir and Dayet's Doppler radars, at 125 kilometers northeast of Infanta, Quezon, or 85 kilometers east-southeast of Belir, Aurora. Maximum intensity, sustained winds of 185 kilometers near the center, gustiness of up to 230 kilometers an hour, a central pressure of 935 millibars. Present movement is northwestwards at 30 kilometers an hour. Extent of tropical cyclone winds, strong to typhoon force winds extend outwards of up to 900 kilometers away from the center. Again, Signal 5 warnings are in effect. Wind threat typhoon force winds, range speeds of 185 kilometers an hour or higher. Extreme threat to life and property. All right, and then we'll go through this. Just seeing if there's anything else here to mention. Okay, now let's show the latest signal warnings in effect for portions of the Philippines. I'll open that up. Here's a look at the earlier ones, and then we'll look at the newest ones. So, Signal 1 warnings are in effect for portions of for Leyte and southern Leyte, the entirety of Samar, Bilaran, Cebu, Bohol, those regions in the Negros Island region, as well as western Visayas and northern Mimaropa, or mainly Palawan, those regions. Signal 2 warning, or in Signal 1 warning is in effect for the Batanes Islands, I believe. Signal 2 warnings are in effect for portions of Sorsogon as well as Masbate, portions of the southern Bicol region, including Albay. Mindoro is in that, and Romblon as well. Northern Cagayan and northeastern Apaya are in that Signal 2 warning, and the Babuan Islands are also under Signal 2 warning. Looking at Signal 3 warnings, that does then include, let me zoom in a little bit more, Signal 3 warnings for the Catanduanes. That's down from Signal 5, I believe it was earlier. Signal 4. Was it? Okay, hold on. Let me open up the other one. Signal 5, yeah, so it's down to now a Signal 3. Camarines Sur is under Signal 3, same for Camarines Norte, Quezon, Laguna, Cavite, Metro Manila. Rizal and Bulacan, I believe, yes, are also under that. Pampanga, looks like they are also under a Signal 3 warning. No, Signal 3 or to 4 warning looks like, yes, okay. Zambales, Signal 3 warning for the southern portions. Tarlac, Signal 3 warning for the southern portions. Bataan for the entirety. Looking at the northern side, northern Isabela, the northern two-thirds there. Ifugaya, northern two-thirds. Mountain Province, I believe the entirety there under Signal 3. Kalinga as well, the entirety of Abra. Northern portions of Ilocos Sur, the entirety of Ilocos Norte. Southwestern Apaya and southern Cagayan, all under a Signal 3 warning. Upping it now to Signal 4 warnings, that does include Polillo Island, as well as a large portion of northern Quezon, Bulacan as well. Nueva Ecija are also in that Signal 4 warning for the southern portions. Northern Tarlac and northern Zambales are also under a Signal 4 warning. The entirety of Pangasinan are under a Signal 4 warning. La Union and Benguets are also under Signal 4 warnings, the entirety of them, as well as southern Isabela, southern Ifugao, southern Mountain Province, and southern Ilocos Sur are under Signal 4 warnings. Northern, or the Carino, is also going to be under a Signal 4 warning, except for the southern portions, and northern Aurora and southern Aurora are under Signal 4 warnings. Looking at Signal 5 warnings, that does include the coast of Aurora there in that Signal 5 warning category, including also areas in southern Carino, as well as southern Nueva Vizcaya and northern Nueva Ecija are under Signal 5 warnings now. Right, and again, we just discussed the forecast cone. Let's pull this up again. Let's see, where'd it go? Here it is. So again, it is going to be making landfall as a super typhoon before exiting the Philippines around La Union. This would be around Monday morning when it exits. Overnight tonight into Monday morning. It will then be exiting the Philippine area of responsibility on Tuesday morning, before then continuing the weekend down to a severe tropical storm, and will be making landfall sometime on Wednesday night or Thursday morning in Taiwan. As a potentially severe tropical storm, it will then be exiting the exiting Taiwan as a tropical storm. Re-enters the Philippine area of responsibility and starts to exit as a low pressure area on a Friday evening. Okay, now let's take a look at the latest. What happened? Okay, hold on. Just looking at the chat. Okay. Oh, and if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. We are now 1 subscriber away from 5.18 thousand subscribers. Are you going to be that subscriber? Okay, now let's look at the latest rainfall forecast from PAGASA. Maybe rainfall or storm surge. Let me see what's next. Okay, here's a look at the rainfall forecast. I'll open it up now. Rainfall forecast from PAGASA. This would be today to tomorrow afternoon. So over 50 to 100 millimeters of rain. What areas are expected to see that? Well, that does include Leyte, Bilaran, eastern Samar, northern Samar, Capiz, Aklan, Romblon, eastern Mindoro, all under that 50 to 100 millimeters of rain, including the Batanes Islands as well. This is just for today until tomorrow afternoon. Areas that are expected to see 100 to 200 millimeters rain does include Masbate, Sorsogon, western Mindoro, Batangas, Cavite, Metro Manila, Rizal, Laguna, Bataan, Pampanga, as well as Tarlac, Pangasinan, Ilocos Sur, Abra, Ilocos Norte, Apayao, Cagayan, and the Babuan Islands in the Philippines. Over 200 millimeters of rainfall again from today to tomorrow afternoon does include Albay, the Catanduanes, Camarines Norte, Camarines Sur, Quezon, Bulacan, as well as Zambales, Nueva Ecija, Aurora, Nueva Vizcaya, Carino, Benguets, La Union, Ifugao, Mountain Province, Isabela, and Kalinga. All there expect to see 200 millimeters rain or more from today alone. Now let's discuss tomorrow afternoon up until, I believe, Tuesday afternoon, yes. 50 to 100 millimeters of additional rainfall could fall for portions of western Mindoro, Batangas, Laguna, Cavite, Rizal, Metro Manila, Bulacan, Pampanga, Tarlac, Nueva Ecija, Aurora, Carino, Isabela, Cagayan, Apayao, the Batanes and Babuan groups of islands, Ilocos Norte, Abra, and Mountain Province, and Kalinga, all under 50 to 100 millimeters of additional rainfall tomorrow afternoon to Tuesday afternoon. In terms of 100 to 200 millimeters of rain, that does include Bataan, as well as Zambales, Pangasinan, La Union, Ilocos Sur, Nueva Vizcaya, and Ifugao. Benguet is expected to see an additional 200 millimeters of rain or more that day. They seem to be getting over 400 millimeters of additional rainfall is expected for Benguet, so major flooding concerns there. Okay. See if I can pull up the latest storm surge warning, if they've posted a new one. This was from around 5 hours ago. Oh boy, okay, yeah, we can pull this up. They have increased the surge potential now for portions of western Luzon and the Babuan Islands and the Batanes Islands. A lot of areas now are expected to see more storm surge than what was previously thought. So 1 to 2 meters of storm surge. Let me just pull this up on my other map here. 1 to 2 meters of storm surge is expected for northern Caraga and mainly in portions around the Dinagat Islands, eastern Samar, and then the east side of eastern Samar, as well as parts of the Zamboanga Peninsula, northern portions there. Looks like Palawan as well, expected to see 1 to 2 meters. The western portions of western Visayas and the southern portions of western Visayas. Portions of the Negros Island region could see 1 to 2 meters of storm surge. Western Mindoro as well, 1 to 2 meters of storm surge. And that does include areas now of Metro Manila and that 1 to 2 meters of storm surge. The coast of Bulacan as well as the coast of Pampanga and Cavite are expected to see 1 to 2 meters of surge. Stepping it up now to 2 to 3 meters of surge. That does include the northern coast of northern Samar, as well as some of the coast of Sorsogon and Albay. And then looks like Marindique, and that's 2 to 3 meters of surge in southern Batangas, and portions of Cavite and portions of Bataan, eastern Bataan. 2 to 3 meters of surge. Now, areas that are expected to see over 3 meters of storm surge does include the entirety of the Bicol region, as well as Calabarzon, mainly Quezon, and of course it includes the entirety of Aurora, Isabela, Cagayan now. The entirety of Cagayan is expected to see over 3 meters of surge. All of the Babuan Islands and Batanes Islands also expect to see that high amount of surge. It does also include Ilocos Norte, Ilocos Sur, La Union, as well as Pangasinan, Zambales, and now portions of western Bataan and western Cavite and western Batangas. Again, over 3 meters of storm surge. And I would be expecting potentially over 5 meters of storm surge to fall roughly into this region and portions of Isabela and Aurora provinces in the Philippines. They could be seeing catastrophic storm surge from this. It's such a large system, and it's been large for such a long amount of time that yes, I believe that catastrophic surge is going to be a result from this in portions of Aurora and Isabela. Okay, now let's answer some questions in the chat. Just looking through. Yes, NCR is now experiencing strong winds. It's so strong, yes. Oh, yeah, how about let's take a look at radar imagery right now. How is that looking like? See, is it updating? Yes, it is. There's a look at the eye. Metro Manila is down over here, the NCR region. And we can look at the latest radar updates. Yeah, look at that solid core. There it is, beginning to exit the radar range, and I believe that these aren't up to date. That's just extrapolated data. You can see just a monster eye there, getting closer and closer to the Philippines. It hasn't really updated just recently, but yeah, very powerful band whipping into portions of Metro Manila. We're going to reach 5.2 thousand subscribers before the end of the stream. We'll see. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. Really helps out the channel a lot. Is it raining really hard right now? Yes, it is raining hard across portions of Metro Manila, or not just Metro Manila, but Luzon, as well as portions of Nueva Vizcaya, Benguet. Those regions getting hit pretty hard. But it's mainly going to be portions of Aurora right now and Carino that are getting the northwestern eyewall of this system. Strong winds are being experienced in Langadan, Abra. Yes, that would make sense. Abra is getting strong winds right now from this system, from this super typhoon. Two deaths already reported, unfortunately. Where were those confirmed? Let's see. The winds in Rizal are now typhoon force. That would make sense. Again, the system is so large that typhoon force winds are going to be possible in Rizal, and typhoon force gust definitely there. Yes, storm surge reports in Aurora. Yes, that makes sense. Again, the system is going to be so large, and it's been so large for such a long amount of time that, yes, this system is building and building storm surge. This thing is massive throughout the past 2 days, so the surge threats along portions of Aurora is going to be extreme, catastrophic. Okay, let's see. Just scrolling through. Oh yeah, and remember to like the stream if you haven't already. It really helps out a lot. It helps to get it out to more people. Let's see here in Pampanga. Moderate rain. Yes, that would make sense. Again, you are down over here. Yes, that makes sense. You're probably getting whipped by another band right now. You can see this band that was moving through. Right over here, this little white line, though, that's whipping portions of Metro Manila, moving more to the south now. Maybe we can see it on here. Yep, there's a look at it. That band's now slamming portions of Metro Manila. It's a little bit hard to look at radar imagery since it's not as high quality as some of the other areas across the globe. Here in Baguio, heavy rains, no winds yet. Again, the system, yeah, heavy rain is going to be falling for your area. Up to 400 additional millimeters rain could be possible in portions of Baguio and across areas in Benguet. Yeah, any places under a Signal 5 warning? Yes, Signal 5 warnings are in effect. Let me open up this map again. Is it going to be this one right here? Okay, yeah, Signal 5 warnings are in effect for the coast of Aurora, as well as, or not just the coast, inland areas of Aurora as well. Inland areas including southern Carino, southern Nueva Vizcaya, and northern Nueva Ecija are in that Signal 5 category. Signal 5 warnings. Impacts in Rizal. Rizal is expected to see moderate impacts from the system. Signal 3 warnings are currently in effect there. Moderate impacts, so for portions of Rizal, damaging winds may snap trees and tear weaker roofs. Flooding of neighborhoods and small rivers are possible, making some roads impassable. Alright. Brownouts. Can Mateo get brownouts? Yes. Let me just double check. Okay, yes, I had to look up what that meant. Sorry about that. Yeah, Rizal as well, moderate impacts. How much rainfall in Taiwan? Well, eastern Taiwan could see up to 500 millimeters of rain from the system as it hooks towards the northeast. Pretty much what's going to be happening is if the center's over here, that counterclockwise rotation slams into Taiwan and upslope terrain there. Those eastern portions of Taiwan seeing major impacts from flooding. Impact in Baylor, Aurora. See, Aurora there is expected to see catastrophic impacts from the storm surge potential. So what do I mean by catastrophic impacts? Flooding may be unsurvivable. A recovery could take months. And these cones are so uncertain, yes, because again, we're not quite sure where those strongest winds are going to be headed, so that's why the cone includes such a large area of those at least gale force wind potential. That does include, again, portions of the Philippines, their large portion of the Philippines. It is exiting, it is leaving portions of the Visayas region, those areas. So again, if you are in, let me zoom out a bit. If we pull up satellite imagery on here, seeing where, oh, whoa, okay, nice burst happening here near southern Aurora there. That's interesting. That came out of nowhere. Very powerful burst. Looks like it's strengthening on the southwestern side. Could see another band start headed towards Metro Manila in the next hours or so. Very cold cloud tops there. That would be minus 90 Celsius or cooler. So very powerful convective burst there. Let's take a look at the latest high resolution mesosector imagery, and if we can spot it on here. Yep, there it is. Nice burst on the southern side there. And it looks like the storm is about to make landfall. I'm going to cut this timer down by 30 minutes. I'm going to now do 30 minutes away or so until landfall. Minor wind in here in Pampanga, yes, that would make sense. What do you think, though, Melissa's maximum winds are? You will be seeing that in the animation that is releasing soon. Let's see, did I put it up as a thumbnail here? I thought I did. Maybe I didn't. Huh. Okay, I thought I had it up here. Anyways, yes, the animation on Melissa will be releasing at 1 a.m. Tonight, overnight in the Philippines. Impacts in San Jose and Nueva Ecija. We can pull that up, seeing if they're in portions of northern Nueva Ecija or not. Okay. San Jose down over here. They are expected to see major impacts from this. I don't believe they're under a Signal 5 warning. I believe they're under a Signal 4 warning. Correct me if I'm wrong. Aurora Signal 4 or 5, they're under a Signal 5 warning. So Signal 5 warning is in effect for the coast of Aurora there. Mainly from northern portions of Aurora down to southern portions of Aurora. Just does not include northern Aurora and southern Aurora. Mainly the central regions of Aurora are in that Signal 5 warning category. The rest are under Signal 4 warnings. Major impacts and catastrophic impacts along the coast for the storm surge potential. Impact in Baguio City is expected to see major impacts. Again, they're expected to see an additional 400 millimeters of rain or more. It's over 200 millimeters rain today to tomorrow afternoon, and to tomorrow afternoon to Tuesday afternoon in additional over 200 millimeters rain. So 400 millimeters rain is the minimum across Baguio City and Benguet. Can you add a fifth category called catastrophic? This is already the catastrophic thing. This pink color is catastrophic. It's just that I can't really fit it in the box. Catastrophic is a long word in terms of how many characters it has, so it can't really fit in this. So I use them interchangeably, extreme and catastrophic. So again, catastrophic impacts are expected along the coast of Aurora. You know, I could extend this larger, but it's much easier to look at the word extreme. Just can you do Kalmaegi? Yes, I plan to animate Kalmaegi next after Melissa, but I may do this system next. It all depends. I'll do a poll as to what animation you guys would like to see next. It could be this one. It could be Fung-wong, or it could be Kalmaegi. I have rainfall warnings. Let's see on X what PAGASA has been or what they have been posting. What rainfall warnings? Yes. Okay, here's a look at the latest rainfall warnings across Luzon. So, Metro Manila is under a red rainfall warning right now. Bulacan as well, Rizal as well, northeastern Cavite, Laguna, Quezon, Palilo Islands. All those areas are under a red rainfall warning. Now, I don't know what this quite means just yet, but it says take action. Orange, be prepared. That includes the entirety of Nueva Ecija, Tarlac, Pampanga, Zambales, northern Bataan, western Cavite, and the entirety of Batangas and southern Quezon. In yellow, be alert for portions of Bataan. Southern Bataan are under that yellow rainfall warning. Okay. Here, I'm just going to look this up. Just going to see what it means. Okay. Okay, so that means torrential rainfall pretty much. Okay. More than 30 millimeters of rain observed within an hour, expected to continue in the next 2 hours. Serious flooding is expected. Okay, yeah, so this is flash flooding happening there. Okay. This is interesting, looking at rainfall warnings, how this works. But yeah, again though, really heavy rainfall impacting Quezon, Laguna, Metro Manila, Rizal, and Bulacan, even northeastern portions of Cavite. Chase, you've gotten better at Philippine provinces. Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay. Okay, I'm trying to catch up to the chat now. Where was I at last? Hold on, let me just scroll up. There we go. Okay. No, it's not 36 hours away from landfall. We are getting very close. It's now down to around 20 minutes or so away from making landfall there in the Philippines. It may already be making landfall right now. It's a little bit uncertain as to where these centers actually located at. Let's see, I'll decrease the timer down to 21 minutes or so. I think that's better. Let me actually decrease it down to 20 minutes. I think that's going to be the most accurate timing. Let me just do that. There we go. Around 20 minutes or so away from a landfall in the Philippines as a Category 4, officially a super typhoon. Impact in the Batanes. Batanes are expected to see... let me pull this up again. Batanes Islands are expected to see marginal impacts. So expect minor tropical impacts with brief periods of gusty winds and some rain. A few branches may come down and minor street flooding is possible. Oh, thank you all so much for 5.18 thousand subscribers. Let's see if we can hit, I don't know what subscriber goal. Chase, can you add a new category called Deadly Impacts? Well, all of these can be life-threatening, okay? I've already discussed this here, life-threatening in that major category, and unsurvivable being possible in that extreme category. I don't think I'm going to reach 10,000 by the end of the year. 10,000 by the end of next year is probably what I'm going to be aiming for. See, I'm in the Madela. I'll search up that area. Madela there is expected to get major impacts from this storm. Mainly from the rain, the wind are going to be the biggest concerns there. The conditions are going to be peaking out probably right now. The conditions are going to be worse maybe over the next hour or so. It will then gradually calm down. Just stay hunkered down in your shelter, in your safe spot. Kalmaegi seen by an eye passing over. Well, the eye is trying to close up right now. It is likely about to make landfall there. Again, it's not just this region, it's this whole section is the eye right now. But yeah, it could be moving over Baguio. What percentage of strength is expected to decrease after landfall? Well, it is expected to go from winds of around 130 miles an hour to around 90 miles an hour. So that'd be, or around 85 miles an hour. So 130, let me just do some quick math. It is expected to decrease by around 34%, 34 or 35% of its winds are going to be cut off from its after it makes landfall there. So the winds are going to be decreasing by around a third of its intensity, gets just knocked down after it slams in the Philippines. It will still be a Category 1 typhoon. Impact in Santa Ana in Cagayan. That area now is expected to see moderate impacts. I would be arguing major impacts actually now because of the storm surge warning in effect there. Again, up to more than 3 meters of storm surge is expected there. I would upgrade that to the major category. Life-threatening flooding in vulnerable areas along the immediate coastline. The animation is coming out today. Yes, the animation of Hurricane Melissa is going to be releasing today and around, let's see, I think is it 6 or 7 hours? How many hours? Looks to be around 5 hours? Less than 5 hours. Okay, never mind. So yes, if you haven't already, be sure to tune into the premiere. This will be releasing soon. This will be releasing at 1 a.m. In the Philippines and at noon Eastern Standard Time. This is the track of Hurricane Melissa. So be sure to attend the premiere. 100 people watching. Thank you guys so much for the support. Impacts in Daipaculao and Aurora. I believe that's going to be catastrophic. We can check, though. Yeah, catastrophic impacts. They're getting hit by the eye right now, though. You are likely experiencing a calm lull in activity, but you are going to get walloped by the eastern side. Stay in your shelter. Well, the winds, gust, and wind speed in Metro Manila. Let me open up, I'll do Quezon City around that area, Metro Manila. Winds of up to 90 kilometers an hour are being forecasted, at least on this. Maybe closer to the coast, get stronger winds up to, let me just go over the water, see if that's a little bit higher. Around 90 kilometers an hour are being forecasted there. Maybe the German runs a little bit higher, and up to 100 kilometer an hour winds are being forecasted for you in Metro Manila. Good job on reaching 5,000 subscribers, Chase. Thank you so much for the support. I will be celebrating that after the typhoon's done. Alright. Ifugao gets flooded or not. Ifugao is expected to see tremendous amounts of rainfall. For today, they are expected, today to tomorrow afternoon, Ifugao is expected to see over 200 millimeters, and tomorrow 100 to 200 millimeters. So at least 300 millimeters are expected for Ifugao, with a maximum of over at least 400 millimeters of rain. Impact in Kalinga. Kalinga is expected to see major impacts from those rainfall totals. Over 250 millimeters rainfall at least across Kalinga. Kalmaegi. Kalmaegi. I think it's Kalmaegi. Warming cloud tops. Yes, the cloud tops are beginning to warm. What does that mean? Well, it's not using the fuel as efficiently right now. But some of those cloud tops are bursting on the southwestern side right now. So it's firing up a lot more. So we'll see what it's doing. Is it peaking now? What is it doing? Was it peaking earlier? Is it on a weakening trend right now? But it is about to make landfall, likely as a Category 3 or 4 strength system. We are 15 subscribers away from 5.2 thousand. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Help us reach that milestone. Impact in Tarlac City. Let's see, is that shown on here? Tarlac is in the orange rainfall warning right now. In terms of total impacts across Tarlac City, they are expected to see moderate impacts. So what do I mean by that? Damaging winds may snap trees and tear weaker roofs. Flooding of neighborhoods and small rivers are possible, making some roads impassable. Remember, PAGASA uses a different estimation. That's why I don't have it as a super typhoon under my analysis. Will you animate Chang'e? Let's see, let me look at that storm again. I think I already animated that storm. Or let me search that up real quick. What was Chang'e? Oh, wait, hold on. When was this? This was early. No, I'm not going to animate Chang'e. My bad. I thought you meant the other one that happened a while ago. Is re-intensification possible after it emerges from Luzon? Yes, but conditions aren't going to be that favorable for it. Let's pull up the general model consensus on what they are showing, if it's going to intensify or not after it makes its landfall or after it merges into the South China Sea. Some of these models do show some gradual re-intensification to a Category 2. That is possible, but I think looking at the Google AI Ensemble consensus here, I don't really expect a secondary peak. I think it's just going to gradually weaken after it enters the South China Sea. Not really seeing a secondary peak here. If you look at that line to my right on that max wind speed, that black line, it doesn't really ever go up. It just maintains intensity. It could briefly reach a secondary peak. It may briefly re-intensify. Uwan is so large, it's as far as even North Malaysia. And looking at the size of the system, it is huge. Look at all the outer bands and things like that. The outflow is just insanely large. Massive storm. Unfortunately, slamming in the Philippines right now. 10 minutes away from a landfall, most likely. Possible impact on Bulacan. Bulacan, where's that again? Bulacan, that's a province, yeah, my bad. Okay, Bulacan is expected to see a moderate impact. So what do we mean by that? Moderate impacts, damaging winds may snap trees and tear weaker roofs. Flooding of neighborhoods and small rivers are possible, making some roads impassable. Will you do an animation on Chang'e? Most likely not. Gonna have to do an animation on Kalmaegi and then also an animation on Fung-wong now. Yeah, I think it's a low in Category 4 right now. Low in Category 4, high in Category 3. PAGASA does their own analysis, and I don't really agree with it, okay? I don't really agree with their estimations on it, and they also use different winds. 3 minutes sustained, I believe, instead of 1 minute. We're now 3 subscribers away from 5.19 thousand subscribers. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already to stay updated on other storms impacting the Philippines and other areas across the globe. Is that the time the typhoon will be making landfall in Aurora? Yes. Yeah, PAGASA is likely overestimating Fung-wong right now, but still, that doesn't really mean much. Catastrophic impacts are still expected along the coast of Aurora, major impacts throughout portions of Luzon. Impact in Zambales. Zambales is expected to see, you said Iba, if it's along the coast. Pull up that area, Iba. This region, I believe, could be seeing major impacts. Yes, major impacts are expected there, mainly for the storm surge potential. Yes, so the storm surge sea level rise over 3 meters is expected. You need to be in higher ground. The flooding could be life-threatening. So here, Itagon, we can pull up that area. Itagon near Benguets is expected to see major impacts from this, mainly from the flooding, not as much from the wind. So, mainly life-threatening flooding in vulnerable areas is expected. Thank you so much for watching the stream, Moochie. Get well soon. Please explain the burst you were talking about earlier, the one that appeared just south of the eye. Well, this is what we call a vertical heat tower, right over here, this burst right here. Pretty much what that means is it's just a, pretty much think about it like thunderstorms, just forming, like firing, growing, and it's wrapping around the storm's eye. This will be having torrential rainfall in it, and this is now, you can see the whole western side, southwestern, northwestern side, really all firing up more convection. That's going to be another round of heavy rainfall that will likely be eventually pushing down towards Metro Manila. So across regions of Nueva Ecija, Tarlac, Pampanga, Bulacan, Rizal, Metro Manila, all those areas. Impact in Metro Manila in both rains and winds. They are expected to see moderate impacts. So damaging winds may snap trees and tear weaker roofs. Flooding of neighborhoods and small rivers are possible, making some roads impassable. Will wind be a major factor in Pangasinan? I don't expect it, maybe in the eastern portions. Major impacts are mainly going to be from flooding, life-threatening flooding in vulnerable areas. And the surge along the western, or along the coast of Pangasinan as well. Damarinas, we can search up that location. Oh no, wait, where is it? Okay, I remembered talking about this earlier. Don't see it, unfortunately. Man, okay. Impact for Bulacan. Bulacan is expected to get moderate impacts from the system, as it is expected to slam, mainly from the wind and from the rain as well. Along the coast of Bulacan is expected to see slight impacts from surge, but mainly moderate impacts, so damaging winds may snap trees and tear weaker roofs across Bulacan, and flooding of neighborhoods and small rivers are possible, making some roads impassable. Has it made landfall? Not yet. We're around 5 minutes away from a landfall. Yes, us in the Philippines can never watch the animation, the premieres. Yes, it's because I released them at my noon time. So for those in the United States. Should I charge my device before the wind is starting? Yes, charge all your devices, okay? You should have done that already. On the checklist here, that you should have been doing that's around 48 hours ago or more, charging your devices. Just get them charged. You still have time, though. Can you check the wind in TinoPH in Bataan? Sure, I'll try to search up that area if I can. Is it spelled right? Yes. Okay, winds right there are probably gusting of up to 70 to 80 kilometers an hour. They are expected to peak out at probably 90 to 100 kilometers an hour. That's according to the German run. Let me check the other ones. Yeah, pretty much same across them. maybe up to 100 kilometers an hour right now. Access model, I can pull that up, seeing what the winds are looking like on there. Okay, it's not that great. I mean, I'm testing it out. Okay, it's a model. I'm not sure if it's a good one. I can check, for example, Santiago. 150 kilometer an hour wind gust. Let me compare that to the other models. Really, you want to see the highest end because a lot of these models underestimate the winds. I think the European run's probably the best for looking at wind gust. We are getting closer and closer to a landfall right now, likely in Aurora. Right. Getting ready, 2.5 minutes away. Impact in Infanta Quezon. I can search up that area. Infanta Quezon are getting whipped by some of the outer core from it, mainly the inner bands from it. So impacts, I'd be saying major impacts in terms of the storm surge potential. Man, but in terms of wind gusts, you likely are experiencing the worst of it now, or maybe over the next 3 hours. You are going to be experiencing the worst of it, so stay hunkered down. Seeing a lot of people joining the live stream. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. Well, we're now down to 4 away from 5.2 thousand subscribers. Let's see if we can hit it before the landfall. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. We're getting closer and closer to a landfall. Storm surge warning from update from PAGASA. I can open that up. The last one was around 5 hours ago, so hopefully there's a new one. Yes, thank you for pointing that out. New storm surge warning. Oh boy. Okay. Metro Manila is now upgraded in terms of the storm surge potential. They are now expected to see 2 to 3 meters of storm surge, and a large portion of Luzon over 3 meters of storm surge, and now portions of Mimaropa are expected to see 2 to 3 meters of storm surge. Western, the Negros Island region, as well as western Visayas, 2 to 3 meters of storm surge. We are now 1 minute away from landfall, 1 subscriber away from 5.2 thousand. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Let's try to hit 5.2k. Getting closer and closer and closer. All right, boom, 5.2 thousand subscribers. Thank you all so much for that. And let's get ready to declare a landfall. Let me open up the more higher resolution imagery. There we go. All right. Yes, thank you so much for all the new subscribers. Again, this will mean now it will likely be beginning to weaken. And let's see, get ready, get ready. All right, 3, 2, 1. There we go. Okay, Category 4 landfall in Aurora. Maybe a Category 3 landfall. High-end Category 3, low-end Category 4 is likely the landfall intensity in Aurora, around central Aurora. It is going to be now likely beginning to weaken, still as a Category 3 over the next few hours, down to a Category 2 or Category 1 by the time it exits the Philippines. We'll continue to discuss the impacts in the Philippines from the system, okay, as it continues to plow on through. And just such a powerful storm. Most powerful since Manyi of last year, I believe, which struck the same area, Pepito. So again, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. We're now 2 away from 5.21 thousand. Be sure to follow me on another social media platform if you haven't already. You can follow me on Instagram at Hurricane Chaser Chase. I highly recommend that. 200 people watching. Thank you all so much for all the new people watching, new subscribers. Again, if you have any questions, you can always ask that in the chat, and I will try to get to it. Okay, just trying to go through all the questions. Yeah, so storm surge warning updates. Hey, pregnant goats in Pangasinan. I can't afford a strong wind here. I can understand that. Another storm after Uwan. I don't expect any new storms after Uwan, at least over the next 7 days. I will keep you guys updated on that. Again, they're just again heavy rainfall warning in effect. This was issued as of 8 p.m. Maybe we'll see another update soon. What do you mean a burst in Metro Manila? Burst, I mean like the storm. What I mean by burst, it means thunderstorms, like rising and towering up, being stronger and stronger thunderstorms. That's all this thing in purple, pretty much, purple coloring. This is going to be spreading out. You saw this other band whipped Metro Manila. Another one may be coming their way. We are getting gusty conditions in Bohol. Yes, that makes sense. All the way down there, though, yeah. I mean, the system is so large that, yes, you are experiencing marginal impacts. Is Aurora in the eye? Yes, Aurora is now in the eye. And the eye is going to begin to close up now as it continues pushing further and further inland. It's always so interesting to see the topographic impacts on tropical cyclones in their cloud tops. You can see right here a cooling or a warming area, right in here, that green coloring. And it just slams into some of the mountains, like these regions getting higher or colder cloud tops, all that kind of stuff. Interesting, though, to see it burst new thunderstorms over land. You know, we are hoping not to see that, but that means that's going to increase the rainfall potential. Oh, you do 10-minute winds. Yeah, that's why it's different. Could dry air invade Uwan's core after it exits the Philippines? Let's look at the latest HAFS A model run and what it's looking at for dry air. So again, it does have a solid core right now as it slams in the Philippines. Not a whole lot of dry air on either side. Does start to then pull in some dry air on the southern side, but it does generally keep its core intact. It isn't until shear blows the system apart that then the dry air entrains into the system. But yeah, another tropical wave could impact portions of the Philippines over the next 5 days or so. I haven't noticed that. Look at this here. A lot of moisture impacting areas that were already devastated from Kalmaegi. You can see just the wave here, how the winds go from this way to then curving up, then curving down. So yeah, a little bit of a tropical wave moves through, looks like. Could it develop into a tropical cyclone? It's possible. There it is. I haven't marked it, though, as an area of interest just yet. How about here in Metro Manila? Metro Manila is seeing moderate impacts right now from this system. Metro Manila in terms of, we can pull up impacts in terms of winds, could be peaking right now in terms of the maximum winds you'll be seeing. It is going to gradually be calming down, but again, additional rounds of torrential rainfall are going to be possible. Heavy rains right now in here in Tuguegarao City, Cagayan. Yes, that makes sense. Let's see. San Felipe, Zambales. Any chance of flooding? Yes. Again, you could be seeing major flooding from the system, from the surge as well, potentially. What is the system's forward speed? Let's look at how much it's moved over the past hour or so. Again, it's moved faster than forecasted, moved more to the north compared to forecasted. We can look at how quickly it's been moving. It's been moving around at 30 kilometers an hour or so, I'd say. Maybe it's slowed down a little bit over the past hour. What about Pampanga, sir? In terms of impacts in Pampanga, or expect to see moderate impacts, potentially major impacts, but I'd be expecting moderate impacts from the surge, the wind, and the rain. All moderate impacts. What do I mean by that? Damaging winds may snap trees and tear weaker roofs. Flooding of neighborhoods and small rivers are possible, making some roads impassable. Eastern portion of Pangasinan, major impacts from the flooding potential. Barely anything in Baguio just yet? Well, yes, you are going to be seeing major impacts, though, soon. Will there be a lot of rainfall in Metro Manila as it moves into the West Philippine Sea? I think it's going to be less by that point. Drier air may be getting pulled towards Metro Manila after that. If we take a look at this. So it may then try to pull some drier air towards Metro Manila. That'd be good. But then that other tropical wave then impacts portions of the Visayas region, potentially Metro Manila. How do you make those cone maps? I use coding to do it. Coding and a graphic design software to make them. Will winds weaken after landfall? Yes, winds are going to be progressively going down. What about Angela's and the worst time? What time will the impacts be the worst? Looks like impacts are going to be the worst either overnight at around 2 a.m. or tomorrow at 2 p.m. Looks like sometime between those times, because impacts are going to be around the same throughout that entire time. But it's just going to be piling on rainfall totals throughout the night, tonight, and into tomorrow morning. How do I see the prepared list? Here's a look at the list right here. Typhoon preparedness checklist. You can take a screenshot of this if this helps you, or for the next typhoon, for example, and what you should be doing. If you're subscribed to the channel, you can automatically check off the first box. Okay, checking forecast daily. I know you'll come back for updates daily on the system and whenever I post videos. When is Cebu most at risk? Cebu is likely already seeing the worst impacts right now from it. It is not really expected to see much at all. It is moving away from you all now. Maybe not even additional moderate or marginal impacts are expected there. Maybe it might be over for you. Can Rizal get typhoon force winds? Yes. Yeah, Metro Manila kind of got spared. It moved north at the last moments, but still major flooding is expected in there. Impact timing for Baguio, please. Let me just click right here. Impacts look to be worst overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. Going to be winds of over 110 kilometers an hour, at least on the European run. Impacts will be continuing throughout the day tomorrow and even on Tuesday. Really doesn't calm down completely until Wednesday morning. Umingan, Pangasinan, will the impacts be strong? Will the winds be strong? Yes, winds could be as high as 130 kilometers an hour or more. The worst timing of impacts will likely be tonight at around 11 p.m. or later into 2 a.m. tomorrow. Impacts don't completely calm down until Wednesday morning. I'm in Isabela, wind signal number 4. Yeah, stay sheltered. If you're across the Philippines, stay sheltered. Uwan could move towards China. Yes, it could. Could make a landfall maybe around Fujian province of China, but it's looking more and more likely it's going to miss China directly. What wind signal warning is Pangasinan? But oh man, look at the difference though. The surge warning. It's gone down at least for northern Samar, but everywhere else has really been increased. The storm surge forecasts, man. Okay. But yes, in terms of wind signals across, what was it again? Pangasinan, the entirety of Pangasinan is now under a signal 4 warning. There's an effect there. Yes, those of you already know the sound effects there for the landfall. I see. I'm catching up. I'm only around 10 minutes away. Just the contrast so we can see the landfall better. Are you sure you can't really see it that great on here? You should be able to see it. I guess from the island there. We can pull up real Earth imagery. This would probably do a good job of showing it. Let's zoom in here and let's use the map, maybe with labels here on where it's slamming into right now. I will pull up the latest imagery on it. Maybe not targets. This should, in theory, do good, but I just... okay. Fine, I guess we can use the full disk imagery. This is still a little bit out of date, though, but here we go. There it is, making landfall in here. Let me lower that down. Making landfall in Lulungang is pretty much where it made landfall in, slamming into central Luzon there, Aurora, and it's now going to be moving into Quezon momentarily, or more, not Quezon, my bad, Carino momentarily. This imagery is around 30 minutes out of date, so let me up this again in terms of where it's gone. There it goes, moving in there. So this is 20 minutes before landfall, and I'd probably show you all the mesosector imagery. That'd probably be better to show. Maybe this. Then let me exit out of this. There we go. A little bit of a better idea there where it's going now. The eye is then closing up. Moving now into Carino. Next stop will be Nueva Vizcaya and Ifugao, and portions of Nueva Ecija. And then Benguet, Pangasinan, and La Union are going to be the next to be slammed by the system. So I'm scrolling up now. Yeah, Metro Manila, again, they are expected to see moderate impacts from this system. Will the 90-kilometer-an-hour wind gust for Metro Manila be sustained when Fung-wong travels throughout land? In terms of the wind gust potential for Metro Manila, if we open that up again, let's look at Quezon City, for example. It is expected to gradually decrease, but it could sustain for a while. It could be sustaining all the way up throughout Monday night, looks like, is when it could be seeing those 90-kilometer-an-hour gust or so. When is the next landfall? Will be Wednesday into Thursday. That's going to be in Taiwan. What is possible theoretical storm in the Philippines? I don't know what you mean by that. Leog, breezy or a bit stronger? Let me search up that area. Leog is expected to see wind gusts as high as 90 to 100 km/h wind gusts. It will likely be seeing the worst impacts at around 2 a.m. or so, and then another round of impacts again on Tuesday as the system then gets a little bit closer to you. Impacts again possible on Wednesday and Thursday. Even on Friday, maybe some outer rain bands potentially impacting you. Chase, update your chat. What do you mean? I'm scrolling down. I'm catching up gradually. I like to answer every single question, okay? I don't like to miss anything. Yes, thank you, Johannes, for mentioning. He's far behind. Be patient, please. Yes. I'm from Massachusetts, but I'm living in Caloocan City in Metro Manila. Got windy conditions and rain. Yes, that makes sense. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I keep you guys updated on storms across the globe, and I will keep you updated on storms that slam into the Philippines in the future before it happens. Rain and wind just jumped a notch here in Angeles. We'll search up that location again. Yes, that makes sense. Winds are going to be continuing to increase throughout the night tonight into tomorrow morning. That's going to be roughly the peak of impacts. Just at what time did it make landfall? Around 15 minutes ago, most likely. Will you make a tutorial on how to make the cone maps? Probably not. It's 15 minutes, and it has made landfall there. 15 minutes ago. Impact in Makati. Search up that location. Okay, if that's near Luzon or near Metro Manila, impacts are going to be in that moderate category. Moderate surge, moderate wind, moderate rain, all expected for you there. La Union is expected to see major impacts along the coast. Surge of over 3 meters is expected there for La Union. Along the coast, it could be exiting there with major rainfall rates. Torrential rain expected there. Okay, guys, I am catching up now. I'm only like 5 minutes behind. The eye is shaped like a banana. I guess so. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of deformed. Yes, it's not as great as it could be. Yeah, there it does. Slams into the Philippines now. Moving through the Sierra Madre Mountains. Impact in Vigan and Ilocos Sur. That's going to be around here, I believe. Yes. Okay, impacts going to be peaking out tonight, the first peak of impacts, with wind gusts of over 130 kilometers an hour. And then tomorrow night's peaking out again of over 110 kilometer an hour wind gust. With it then continuing throughout the day, Tuesday, Wednesday, and it just really keeps going. Thursday's when it finally tries to completely calm down. Again, though, major impacts are expected there for the storm surge potential. Why is the storm going so much more northwards? It does wobbles. Storms like these will like to do wobbles occasionally when they're so powerful. Man, look at that. Look at those convective bursts there on the southern side and southwestern side. Just really more thunderstorms flaring up now. What do you use to animate hit film? Now I'm down to like 4 minutes away. The impacts are starting to get worse in Benguet. I'm experiencing heavy rain and light winds, yes, and that will progressively pick up throughout tonight. Baguio City, yep, is expected to see major impacts from the system, mainly in the form of rain. The peak of impacts look like they will be anywhere from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. with wind gusts of over 110 kilometers an hour. Is it possible due to land friction it just wobbled and erratically moved more to the north or south? It's possible. Storms do wobbles, especially with mountainous terrain. Cebu City shouldn't really be seeing that much right now. Should be pretty much through the worst of it already. Maybe another round of gusty winds tomorrow, so additional marginal impacts possible tomorrow. Wind gusts of up to 60 to 70 kilometers an hour. What does that sound effect mean? Okay, let me search that up. Okay, that's interesting. All right. Red rainfall warning, yes. Again, showing the red rainfall warning is in effect now for, whoops, where'd it go? Here it is. Red rainfall warning in effect. Let me just see if there's another one issued. How quick or how often do they issue updates? It looks like it seems like it's every 3 hours, I think. Maybe. I'll check if there's any new updates on their social media account. Now, the last one was this one. So, red rainfall warning in effect for Rizal, Metro Manila, Laguna, Bulacan, and portions of Quezon and Cavite. Orange rainfall warning in effect for Nueva Ecija, Tarlac, Pampanga, Zambales, Northern Bataan, Southwestern Cavite, Batangas, and Southern Quezon. With a yellow rainfall warning in effect for Bataan, Southern Bataan. Thanks for the log info, of course. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. It really helps out a lot. There we go. Now I'm caught up. Yes, I can see now the messages. Johanna's 921. Yep, I am caught up now. Is high on 195 miles an hour. You can see my analysis on it in the 2013 animation, and yeah, if you guys haven't already, I do animations on YouTube, so you can always check those out. Here, I could probably show you all a list of some of my animations if you haven't seen them. Whoops, okay. Come on, okay. Let's see, please work here. Okay. In theory, now I can show this to you all right on here. Some of the animations I do, if you haven't already, you can always check those out. Please don't glitch out. Please be fine. Okay, there we go. So yeah, if you can, you can watch some of my other animations I release. I've done some on, for example, Umberto, Regassa, Bualoy, Matmo, Along, those storms. And then you can see some of my most popular animations, like last year's Western Pacific Typhoon season animation, storms like Yagi, Trammy, Christine, Mani, Pepito, on the 2025 hypothetical Pacific Typhoon season animation, also there. You can see other animations like the 2013 animation with Super Typhoon Haiyan or Yolanda. They're the strongest landfall in recorded history in the Philippines, and other animations that you can check out on the channel. So you can always just look at it and you can see the track of Typhoon Haiyan or Yolanda. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And the most recent animation is going to be on Hurricane Melissa. That will be releasing in under 4 hours from now. And be sure to follow me on another social media platform if you haven't already. Cavite, how many hours will it take there, please? Okay. Sure, I'll pull up Cavite. Or Cavite, I will just... Cavite's roughly around... Here, I'll use Das Marinas. Impacts will likely be the worst right now. You're probably getting the worst impacts throughout the storm right now, maybe in an hour or so, maybe in a couple hours, before it gradually starts calming down, okay? Just stay hunkered down. I will be doing another video updates later, or tomorrow morning on the system. Another live stream. Right. So yeah, again, already portions of the Philippines have already gone through the worst impacts of the storm. Mainly going to be anywhere really south of this line, probably east in this area of the Philippines have already gone through the worst of it. This area has not gone through the worst of it just yet. So this impact graphic will be updated tomorrow morning for you all in the Philippines. I will be doing another live stream. You can follow me on another social media platform to see when this cone releases, the updated cone. Will be coming out in around 9 hours or so. You can follow me on X on @hurricane_chase, Instagram @hurricane_chaser_chase, and if you use Facebook or Blue Sky, you prefer that social media platform, you can follow me on Cyclone Tracking, and you can join the Discord server, discord.gg/chasestorm. Chase, there's no future storms, right? Nothing within the next... Oh man, okay. I don't have anything marked for a chance of becoming a tropical cyclone over the next 7 days. There could be a tropical wave moving through in the next 5 days or so. Other model runs I don't think have really liked that at all. I don't think that they want it to become anything really problematic for the Philippines. It could be a flood threat for portions of Cebu, those regions. But in terms of it becoming a tropical cyclone, looks unlikely. Even when it enters the South China Sea. That was the signal there. Maybe something after all that, but again, you guys are going to, these next 2 to 3 weeks could see 1 to 2 other tropical cyclones try to form. Isabella, the winds are strong. Yeah, that would make sense. Has it made landfall in Belir? Yes, it has. Next cyclone formation, Bay of Bengal, India. Could you update? I don't have anything there for anything forming in the Bay of Bengal. Nope. Okay, I was just looking at the Twitter questions. Oops, okay, there we go. Yeah, Cebu could get impacts from this. Yeah, I know. Didn't they get hit by an earthquake? And many typhoons. Okay, yes, they have. Yeah. Man, okay. Anything forming in the Atlantic? Nope. Wind gust over Ilagan City in Isabela. Is this it? Yes, okay. Impacts there, wind gusts of over 120 kilometers an hour are being forecasted. This would be happening at around 11 p.m. or so, before it gradually calms down. Still 2 a.m. over 110 kilometer an hour winds. Then finally calms down below 65 kilometer an hour winds. This would be around 11 a.m. Let's see, about Metro Manila, have they gone through the worst of it? Potentially. Winds are still going to be very strong, though, throughout these next 6 hours or so. Things will be gradually calming down after the next 6 hours or so. I see so many people mentioning the flood control projects. I'm not quite sure about what all that means. I tried to look it up, seeing if there was corruption or something like that. I don't know what exactly happened there and why it's such a scandal, I guess, if people weren't building the flood control projects properly and that all the money just vanished or something. Okay. All right. Tugagero City, or Tugagero and Cagayan. Search up that location. They could be seeing moderate impacts from the system, additional moderate impacts. The peak of conditions will likely be happening at around 2 a.m. There, you haven't gone through the worst of it just yet. Stay hunkered down. Stay in your safe spot. You summed it up correctly, Chase. Lots of corruption right now. Okay, good. Glad I got that out properly. Is Angeles City getting hit right now? They are getting impacts from this. Yes, so the peak of impacts will be overnight tonight into tomorrow morning and tomorrow afternoon. Before then, it no longer is at the peak tomorrow evening. I will be doing another update for tomorrow morning, so you and Angeles will be informed. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. We are now 5.22 thousand subscribers. Can we hit 6,000 by the end of the year? Let's hope another system doesn't impact the Philippines. I will, of course, be discussing that next system that could impact the Philippines in another update there. This guy right over here. So be sure to subscribe for that. That's the other tropical storm that could impact Cebu, Izan. Why did they put Pampanga in signal number 3 and East signal number 4? Forecast says most of the storm isn't going to majorly impact you. I don't know why they do the signal warnings like that. Again, I just try to do... let's see, where is it again? Wait, where'd my signal warning graphic go? No, where'd it go? Where'd it go? No. Oh man, okay, just give me a moment. Sorry about that. And I guess I might have just exited out of it. My fault. Okay. I will open it up again. Here, so Pampanga. Maybe because typhoon force winds are going to be expected there. I can understand that. If it was typhoon force winds, I'd include more areas in the signal for, but they're, I guess, kind of conservative on that. Maybe, I think it's a decent job there. What areas would be seeing at least moderate impacts from it? Do you use daylight saving times or Eastern? Well, we're no longer in daylight time anymore. We're in Eastern Standard Time down here. So it's 8:30 a.m. for me in the United States, in Florida. Power interruption has happened in Tarlac. Yes, that would make sense. Yeah, Robo James, it may be a little bit over exaggerated there from PAGASA in terms of the storm surge potential, but maybe not. It's such a large system. All right. Thank you, Richie. Hey guys, if you want to reach out to me, you can always follow me on Instagram from the Philippines and just let me know there. If you use Instagram, you can follow me at Hurricane Chaser Chase. I always love seeing the kind messages you all send me there. What town is getting the worst of winds right now? Worst of winds, and you don't need to spam the question. Worst winds right now happening across Aurora. Mainly looks to be around Adina Lungan, mainly, as the worst impacts right now. Of course. Yeah, please don't spam questions. Result can see Typhoon Vortex winds, yes. Again, just east of Metro Manila, moderate impacts are expected there. Again, who is going to be watching the animation on Hurricane Melissa at 1 a.m. or who's going to be checking it out tomorrow? It's not just going to be at 1 a.m., that's when it releases, but who is going to be checking out that animation? This might be the biggest animation of the year. Be Johanna's, okay. We'll try, alright. Yep, I'll be in the premiere there. I'll be in the live chat. Any update on the Southern Indian Ocean? Nope. Sean, going to be there? Okay. Yep, again, did a lot of reanalysis on this. This is why it took a lot of time to release. And mountains might be weakening it at any time. Yes, it is weakening now. Now that it's slammed into the Philippines, no longer directly over water. You can see now that eye has closed up. So the system is now weakening, but still firing thunderstorms. Thunderstorms are growing on the southern side, southwestern side, even northern side, all around it. Strong thunderstorms, which will be spreading out across portions of the Philippines. We can see another thunderstorm bursting over Mindoro, as well as torrential rainfall down there. Yeah, Fung-wong didn't verify Grenadine's SS. You're right on that. So yeah, a lot of models were screaming Category 5. Fortunately, it didn't verify. It was too large of a storm. This was the most bullish signal I've ever seen on the Google AI Ensemble members. So interesting to see how it can fail in some of this rapid intensification forecast. You're late by 10 minutes in landfall. They made landfall at 9:10. All right, so yes, that makes sense. I declared landfall at 9 o'clock, so I believe I was right on that. So a little bit 10 minutes early compared to PAGASA. It did didn't undergo rapid intensification at all. We can take a look at that. Let's see, winds of 130 miles an hour than the previous time at 1 a.m. 105. That's only a 25 mile an hour increase. From 7 p.m. to 7 p.m. there, increased by 35 miles an hour. So yeah, it did undergo rapid intensification. It did 30 knots in 24 hours. Rapid intensification did occur with the system. Even at this point, increased by winds of 45 miles an hour. That's 40 knots, and at 30 knots is the requirements for rapid intensification. So yes, it did rapidly intensify before landfall. It did level out, though. Look at the update from PAGASA. They've released an update. I'll check. Yes, okay, the eye has made landfall now. They have posted landfall updates from it. Okay. Yes, okay, I'm just looking at the updates from PAGASA. Any new things for flooding? There's river flood bulletins that I don't really know how to understand this. A little bit of a complicated forecast. I can try to understand it. So yeah, all of these areas are under a critical water levels right now. Okay. All right. So yeah, some of these rivers going to be continuing to rise, or rivers, or whatever these are. I don't understand this, but yeah, flood depth. Okay. Interesting. Okay, flood depth. All right. Okay. Just saw lightning during the storm, weirdly enough. It might have been a power flash. AI models did a good job on where it was going to track, I think. Like here, we can take a look at the model runs from. Let's do 5 days ago. Where did they have it going? Let's go to this system right over here. 5 days ago, they were forecasted to make landfall somewhere in Luzon there. So I mean, still a decent job. Low in Cat 3 or high in Cat 3, low in Cat 4 landfall. A decent job there, and of course, some of those ensemble members showed it making landfall just to the south. That's not very far away. So I think the Google AI model did very good. What is the difference between a tropical monsoon and tropical depression? Tropical depression means it's a tropical cyclone, meaning it has a closed low level center, has sustaining convection over that center. That's pretty much what it means. It has a warm core. Monsoon, it can be just a sloppy, rainy mess. Interesting how you can see the difference from observed where it went versus yeah, so you can see how it moved more to the south of forecast there. So you can just see the difference there from the models there. Mainly it just moved more to the southwest compared to the Google AI Ensemble members then. Compared to Kalmaegi though, Kalmaegi it did a solid job there on where it was going to be tracking. Wobbled though, some to the north, some to the south. And tropical cyclones will do those wobbling, but look at that, wobbled so many times. North, south, north, south. Land depressions, yeah, storms that form inland. But I'd just consider it a tropical depression. It's windy here in Durnana, yes. How's the weather in Lingun? I'll search that area up. Can't find it, unfortunately. How's weather in Cebu City? Just fine. Not really expecting anything right now down there. Really should be mostly clear, maybe some cloudy conditions from some of the outflow. But yeah, it's fine in Cebu City right now. Lingai and Chase, thank you so much, Gaming with Trip and H. I'm so glad to have people here who can help translate it for me. Thank you. There, in terms of what were they asking? Let me search that up again. How's the weather there? Wind gusts of up to 100 kilometers an hour, up to 120 kilometers an hour are going to be expected over the coming hours. I'm in Tulupa, Muntinlupa. I'll search that area up. When will they stop? Looks like they'll stop by, it will decrease below 70 kilometer an hour wind gusts by around 5 a.m. tomorrow, and then below 50 kilometer an hour winds by 8 a.m. tomorrow. Maybe getting some peak gust over that, but then it just continues to calm down. How are you feeling now, Chase? A little bit tired. Probably. I'm excited to get the animation on Melissa out in under almost 3 hours now. Excited to release that. Haven't released an animation in a week. It's been such a long week, but I am. Thank you for asking, though. I'm excited though for the 5,000 subscribers. I'm excited the fact that the storm is going to be over soon. There will hopefully be a break in the Philippines after this. Um, and I'm excited the fact that there's going to be a break across the globe in tropical cyclone activity. Really, not a whole lot going on. Just had that one brief tropical depression over here, which then has now dissipated. Jay says, subscribe to you. Thank you so much. Yeah, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Yes, I'm in America. How'd you know? How's the weather in Kanta? Alright, thank you, Admiral. Kenta is expected. They're probably seeing the worst impacts right now. Things will gradually calm down there. Sierra Madre once again saving the day, I guess. I mean, it's causing more heavy rainfall there. Do you think PAGASA should decrease the increment of their updates to hourly or every 30 minutes during landfall? National Hurricane Center does that hourly right before landfall of a very powerful storm. So yeah, maybe. That could be helpful. Why Fung-wong is so large compared to other hurricanes? I believe it's just its outflow and it's so much room to grow. Pretty much storms like this when they're trying to develop, it was just so broad initially. And so as it started out as a broad tropical wave, well, I mean, trying to consolidate that, it's just a broad low pressure area. It just keeps growing and growing and growing. And never disrespect storms like Fung-wong here. Even though they're not not super typhoon intensity, maybe official or unofficially, they could still be very destructive in terms of rainfall and storm surge. Where does the Fung-wong now? Where is it now? Well, it is currently located over Aurora and now entering into Carino. Think that Uwan could have been a Category 5 if it was smaller? Definitely. This could have been a very powerful super typhoon. More than just the bare minimum Category 5. It could have been as strong as Main Cut was. Wish PAGASA gets their hands on some really nice, like the Dow trucks, yes, in the US. I mean, Dow would be a lot more difficult in the Philippines due to that topography, due to the mountains blocking out some of the radar beams. Robo James, did you see my post on it when it was that size? what is your opinion in this year's typhoon season and last year's season? This season started out pretty calm, I'd say. But then it was just back to back storms impacting the Philippines, Vietnam, China, all those areas. So Japan got lucky so far this year. Huh? Typhoon tip is bigger than Pluto? What? I gotta look that up. 2.2 thousand kilometers, size of Pluto. What? Wow, okay. That's actually insane. Thank you for mentioning that. Wow. That's something I never knew. Thanks for the fun fact, Aizan. Where's the exact location of the typhoon? If we pull up some of this more high resolution imagery, it's likely now moving into Medela. Right now, that area around San Augustine, and moving, wait, let's see, a little bit more to the south, I'd say. Medela down over here, this region. Yeah, America's around the size of Typhoon Tip, yes. What is the best volcano to visit? Interesting, yeah. I don't know. Yes, yes, Mark. Isn't that interesting? Jupiter's storm is the same size as Earth. All right, see you, Richie. The winds have peaked in Metro Manila, most likely. Yes, I know about Geometry Dash. Some of my older animations, I've used some of that music. Of course, all good. When will the winds and rizzles stop? Well, it's going to be a while. Let me just pull it up. Rizzle is over here. I'll pick up one of the, like today, for example. Winds won't really stop until Tuesday morning is when it'll really calm down, get back to normal. Yes, I saw GTA 6 getting delayed again. Will it weaken on the next landfall? Well, I mean, it's already made landfall. Will this be a Category 2 when it exits the landmass? I'm expecting a mid-range or high-end Category 1. Could be even weaker than that. Maybe low-end Category 1. That's what I'm predicting. I will do another update tomorrow morning for you all in the Philippines and Taiwan to discuss the system's impacts there. So in terms of future streams, we've done this one already right down here. So in terms of next streams, one is going to be here, and then an additional one here, potentially, or an additional one here. So I'd say 2 to 3 additional live streams are going to be possible with the system. BeamNG Drive, yes, I played that. Can you please pull up radar imagery so that we know how fast it's moving on the landmass? Well, radar imagery isn't that helpful on here because it's kind of cut off. I mean, look at that, like, some of it's just completely cut off there, not really able to see anything, so can't really see a whole lot. I wish that the data was more publicly accessible. How many landfalls will it make before it exits? It only made its one. No other areas for it to make landfall, and it's just going to plow through land and then move back over water. Ooh, is the latest Google AI Ensemble members out? Is the 060 run out? Yes, it is. Here's a look at the most recent run. Correctly predicted again, 100% of them making landfall in Aurora. Then exits around Pangasinan or La Union or Ilocos Sur, those three provinces it could exit out as. Does have it exiting still as a Category 2 or Category 1 typhoon. Hooks off towards the northeast, makes landfall in Taiwan there as a tropical storm, mainly moderate tropical storm. And then does have it dissipating by day 5. So we should see the forecast cone then no longer have a 5-day point. Maybe it will lose a 4-day point. I'm not sure. And so the cone will then end here, most likely. How much rain will it have in Cavite? Let's see. Cavite, in terms of rainfall totals, let me pull up the most recent one. Is this it? No, it's not. It's over here. Rainfall in Cavite, today to tomorrow afternoon, 100 to 200 millimeters rain, and tomorrow afternoon to Tuesday afternoon, an additional 50 to 100. So 150 to 300 millimeters of rain is possible there. Of course, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. If this stream was informative, you can always like it as well. We are 3 subscribers away from 5.23K, trying to hit 6K by the end of the year. I don't know if I'm going to make it. I don't know. How many days until January 1st? That's my question. 53 days, and we are now... Okay, man, I have to do math now to figure this out? Okay, let's see. 5227, or 6,000... 5227. Okay. 773 away. That means I would need to get 14 subscribers a day to reach that milestone. I'm not sure. We may hit 6K. We'll see. Do you think a wrong way Lenny storm is possible in the Philippines where it forms in South China and then moves east without Fujiwara? Well, without the Fujiwara effects, most likely not. But we've had that with Kome earlier. I think that was Emong. That storm has done that before. Center Fung-wong relocating. Nope. Alright. Well, I'm probably going to wrap this up now. Again, guys, don't forget to watch the animation that's coming out soon on Hurricane Melissa. I'll also be doing an animation, of course, on Kalmaegi and this storm, Fung-wong. Remember to initially mispronouncing it as Fung-wong, but I think it's Fung-wong. Or Fung-wong. Thank you for your time. Of course, guys, thank you so much for all the support recently. Can't believe we hit 5,000 subscribers from this storm. I remember just thinking, like, you know what, after Melissa, there's another storm impacting the Philippines. Maybe I'll reach 5K after this. That looks similar to Force 13's animation. Yes, that's pretty much what's inspired me to do these animations. We've been growing pretty fast compared to Force 13. That's been pretty nice. Thank you all so much for the support. I'll try to spend as much time as I can to inform you all. Remember that I'm going to be doing another stream tomorrow morning. Who will I be seeing on that stream? In the tomorrow morning stream, around the last time of the previous stream, we'll probably do it for under 2 hours. Might only be an hour, we'll see, depending on how many people decide to watch. WStream, thank you so much. Thank you guys so much for all the support recently. And remember, follow me on Instagram if you haven't already, especially if you're in the Philippines. I'd really appreciate that, getting some followers from the Philippines. And you can always send me a message on Instagram. Really appreciate it. All the kind words. Thank you guys so much. What interested you in hurricanes and weather? Well, it was, let's see, it was Hurricane Irma. And the Weather Channel got me interested in weather. Richie, I'll be seeing you there. Okay, perfect. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next update.